Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
We'll take a few questions, maybe 5 or 6 maybe, and then we'll do some maybe one-on-one if there's appetite for that. But if there is a question or two, we're happy to do that. If not, there's one.
Yeah, President Engler, you mentioned how...
Let's identify for everybody.
Matt Sharvin of the Detroit News. You mentioned initially how you would have a national search, and then you kind of zeroed in on Bill as it went. Was there a search beyond this? Were other people interviewed, or did you identify him pretty early and work toward that?
No, and that was the intention. And as we started to make preparations for the search and starting to talk about the qualities that we wanted to have in an athletic director, it was impressed on me as I talked to members of our coaching staff and members outside the university community about the kind of qualities. There needs to be a high commitment to compliance. Bill's legal training. I went to my first Big Ten meeting with Bill in Rosemont, Illinois, and I was struck by the fact that the entire agenda was all about legal matters. It was really an interesting meeting, but in talking with other ADs from other schools about what qualities they had to draw upon, what qualities needed to be available to an athletic director, I kept hearing about things that I thought Bill already possessed, and then as I talked to some of the people who know best, our coaching staff here, it kept being reinforced the job that Bill was doing. And if you go back to Bill's predecessor, Mark Hollis, Mark came up through the institution here, was a long-time part of the athletics department, went on to have great success. I'm very confident in Bill's his qualities, as I said, integrity, leadership has been mentioned this morning. He has all of the skills necessary, and I think we could have looked across the country and been hard-pressed to find somebody that would know Michigan State the way Bill does with the qualities he has. So we ended up not needing to do the national search.
Governor Engler, Hondo Carpenter from Spartan Nation right here in front of you.
I'm sorry, identify yourself.
Hondo Carpenter with Spartan Nation.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, there's a lot of great candidates around the country, but when your two foundation coaches in Tom Izzo and Mark D'Antonio so strongly supported him, how resounding of a statement was that to you?
That's pretty powerful. And these are two men who've conducted their programs and their entire lives, frankly, with integrity. They've run the kind of programs that everybody else would like to have around the country. They've had success on the field, they've had success off the field, and when you've got ringing endorsements from those two. Plus, I think it's important, Susie's here today, but so is, I saw Kathy George, I saw Dan Cole, I'm not sure who else is here, I didn't catch all the other members of the coaching staff when I came down, but I talked to our golf coach, she's out in California, very supportive, baseball coach the same way, Jake, very supportive, so those are the kind of endorsements, and these aren't maybe people that are front and center every day. They don't, you don't give them as many inches in your publications or as much time on the air, but boy, it's the kind of endorsement that I wish I could have, so.
Fred Heumann, WLNS to you, right?
Yeah, Fred, sorry.
How you doing? He was perceived, Bill was perceived as a long shot in our world, that shows you what we know. But when you brought him on as the interim, was it the long-range plan that would grow into this, or did he win you over?
No, there was no, at that point, we had a vacancy and we needed to bring leadership into the department. And Bill is highly regarded by the trustees. And the trustees who worked with Bill, and you've heard that from Brian speaking on behalf of the board, and you mentioned the unanimous support that he enjoys. I mean, I don't enjoy unanimous support from the board. So, I mean, kudos to Bill. Seriously, I think that the people on the board who've known Bill, they knew his qualities, they know the kind of integrity that he has. And he was an outsider coming into the department, that was deliberate. And I thought that was an important statement at the time. But there was no plan, and truly the thought was a national search. But, I mean, he did, and Tom Izzo kind of touched on this, these meetings. Bill's had a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, a lot of coaches, and the feedback consistently has been good. And he's done more than listen. He's actually made changes here, and there's been some adjustments already, and I think there'll be more to come. He's leading also. He's listening, but he's also leading.
President, I heard Kyle Austin, MLive.com. I'm just wondering about the timing of making this move. Obviously, you're serving it in an interim position. Was there any thought given to waiting for a permanent president to do this, or what led you to decide that then?
No. Okay, thank you.
Governor Engler, Chris Solar from Detroit Free Press. I do have one question down in front.
Okay.
You mentioned about Bill not having the athletic experience. He mentioned it in his bio. Not having the athletic department experience in navigating some of those things with athletic department issues. Could you talk a little bit about the team around him that you have to help him navigate that? Is that a help or hindrance right now?
Well, I probably should let Bill do that. He mentioned Jen and Aller and Jim Pigotano. I mean, those are three that have been here, played very strong roles. I would point out Bill's the third now attorney to be an AD inside the Big Ten Conference, and if you throw a Big Ten wannabe Notre Dame in, he'd be the fourth. So that's a pretty good recommendation. If you look around the country, there are also a number of what I call non-traditional selections. I mean, the biggest challenge we've got right now maybe is to make sure that Comcast listens to the needs of the Big Ten and in the new contract negotiations. They've already denied Spartans in Texas and Florida, for example, access to the Big Ten network. Doesn't make us very happy. So there's those kind of negotiations. We've got litigation out in California relative to what is the will there be, or what is the impact of compensation in student athletes. That's a tough, hard question. That's kind of a legal issue that's being fought through, and there's some constitutional claims being asserted. So there's some of that kind of stuff that I think it's helpful. Bill's MBA, I mean, he's a good manager, and we've got a $133 million budget. We've got some of what are described, I guess, by you all. I don't know if there's an official categorization of what they call non-revenue. In other words, they're not making lots of money, but they're awfully important to sports here. And how can we support those programs? And as Bill said, put more plaques up here on the wall. And so he's got a lot of work. I'll let you talk about your team, because you're very proud of these men and women.
Yeah, I just say that I think we have a very strong team in the athletic department, both in terms of our folks that work in this building, as well as our coaches, assistant coaches, our athletic training staff, our strength and conditioning staff. I think from top to bottom, we've got, if not the best, one of the very best groups in the Big Ten. We work. This is going to seem a little bizarre to say with a $133 million budget, but we've got a group of people that work really hard to do more with less relative to the other schools in the conference that might have budgets of $30, $40, $50 million more than ours. So I'm very pleased with the team we've got, and I think we'll as we align ourselves, we'll make great progress.
Question for either of you to address. I think there's a portion of the Michigan State student body, faculty, and community that have expressed they want fresh ideas of new leadership to come in when you make administrative changes at this point. What would you say to that group to assuage their fears that Bill's vast experience here?
I say check the box. We've got that Bill Beekman. He's fresh, he's new, he's not been here in the department before. He comes in with a great background to make kind of changes that are necessary, but no wedded to the past approach on Bill's part. And you build from strength. One thing you do at a university is you take, say, the nationally ranked physics department, you build on that strength. You take our nationally ranked education school, you build on those strengths. You take a nationally regarded program like we've got in athletics, you build on it. You go to places that are weak and you build those up, but where you've got strength, you build on that. Other programs around the country, I think, are envious of the integrity and the performance of Michigan State athletics. And that's true even inside the conference.
Question for Bill, if I may.
Last one.
For Bill, you have maintained a remarkably low profile during the interim. None of us have heard from you. We've barely seen you. Is that by design, or were you busy managing? Will that change?
I'm shocked he doesn't enjoy spending time with folks like you.
Right.
Well, when you get a face made for radio, it's not. From my perspective, as I said in my prepared remarks, it's I feel very, very strongly that it's about our student athletes. It's not about me, and I'm not opposed to talking to y'all. I'm sure I will many times going forward, but I think we've been working. We're sort of like a duck. You know, you may not have noticed a whole lot above water, but below water, we're doing a lot of churning, and we're working really hard. We've taken a hard look at the budget. We've reorganized sports administration. We've worked very hard to shore up our health, safety, and wellness issues. So in the last 5 months, we've been doing a lot of work. I'm not opposed to talking to y'all. Happy to do so. But from my perspective, very practically, the media will probably tend to report on two things: wins and losses, and bad behavior. And what I'd like to encourage y'all to focus on is the extraordinary accomplishments of so many of our student athletes. And I'll just say one other thing. When I came into this role, and I will never forget sitting over at Cole's house on a Sunday afternoon with President Engler and some of his team, and it was our first meeting, and I had a list of about 15 things that I thought we needed to tackle with him coming on board. And I started with the interim athletic director role, and I made a variety of suggestions, and he said, well, I'd like you to do that. And it was about the furthest thing from my mind. But as I've had an opportunity to meet with the coaches, to meet with many of the student athletes, it's just been an extraordinary experience learning about how wonderful these young men and women are, and how much of their lives our coaches give to making sure that they're successful. And as I say, successful not only on the field, but really more importantly, academically and in life. And so I will look forward to conversations, and I will look forward to pestering you all about talking about the many extraordinary young men and women we've got at Michigan State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for being here today.